The Galactic Council chamber shimmered with soft bioluminescent light, each glowing panel representing one of the 73 allied species. At the central podium stood Ambassador Zixer, an immense, regal, dragon-shaped being whose scales shifted between molten gold and deep crimson. Her four wings rested elegantly at her sides, and the ancient starfire ring on her foreclaw pulsed with authority. It marked her as the High Diplomat of the Draconis Imperium. "The petition from humanity is rejected," Zixer declared, her voice echoing through layered translation fields. They lacked the technological maturity, cultural cohesion, and genetic stability required for council inclusion. The human delegation didn't rise to argue. They'd expected this outcome. Humanity had only discovered faster-than-light travel 3 decades. Earlier, practically infancy in galactic timelines, outside the glittering council tower, in the forgotten lower district of Station Harmony, a small child curled against a wall, trying to stay warm in the recycled chill. Harper, 9 years old and painfully alone, watched the crowds drift past her. Her parents had perished during a failed colony mission when their ship was consumed by a spatial rift. Since then, she had been shuffled between temporary shelters. Far too young and far too poor to return to Earth, a Krillian vendor hissed at her as she passed too close to his stall. "Watch it, little human." Harper stumbled, her shoes scraping the metal floor. A steady hand grabbed her before she fell. "Easy," said Gabriel, a 17-year-old human who had been living in the station's underbelly for 2 years. He had unofficially become guardian to many younger refugees. "You okay, Harper?" But Harper wasn't listening. Through the crowd, she spotted the Dragon Ambassador exiting a side corridor surrounded by guards. Zixer moved like living liquid metal, powerful, ancient, and completely uninterested in the chaos around her, and then Harper ran. "Harper, wait." Gabriel lunged after her, but she was small and fast. Slipping between bodies with desperate purpose, the guards raised their weapons. But Harper skidded to a stop directly in front of the towering dragon. "Miss Dragon," she said breathlessly, staring up in awe, "my mom had a ring like yours." The guards tensed. Gabriel arrived seconds later, grabbing her shoulders and blurting apologies in multiple languages. Zixer raised one claw, and the entire plaza fell silent. She bent down, her enormous eyes settling on the tiny human girl. Then her gaze dropped to the thin chain around Harper's neck, a small metal ring, glowing faintly even through the grime. "Show me," Zixer murmured. Harper lifted the chain with shaking hands. The moment Zixer saw the ring, her scales flashed through a spectrum of colors, her species only revealed during moments of overwhelming emotion. She lifted the tiny relic beside her own ceremonial band. The design was identical. The starfire core was the same. The craftsmanship matched perfectly, despite the drastically different sizes. "That should be impossible." "Ice," Zixer whispered. "Child, where did your mother obtain this?" Harper recited softly. It was hers and her mom's. And her mom's. Really, really old. The ambassador slowly sank down until she sat at Harper's level, completely forgetting protocol and guards. "What is your family name?" Zixer asked. "Harper Nakamura Okono Chen," she said. "But Mom said we used to have a different name a long time ago." Before something happened, Exteza's claws trembled as she activated a holographic field. Ancient records, star maps, and fragmented data flickered into view. 12,000 years ago, she began, voice unsteady, my people launched a colony ship, the Prometheus. We used a name we had picked up from a young species' early radio broadcasts. The ship had vanished without a trace, lost forever. These rings, Zixer said, holding up both the massive and the tiny version, were given only to the leaders of that mission. They cannot be reproduced. The technology no longer exists. Gabriel's breath caught. Are you saying humans come from your colony? Not entirely, Zixer replied. But the Prometheus carried geneticists, terraformers, environmental engineers. If they crashed on a primitive world, if they adapted, if they merged with the native population to survive across millennia, she looked at Harper with something like awe. You carry Dracona's lineage. Buried, mixed, but real. Humans are not strangers. They are our lost descendants. News spread across the station in minutes. By nightfall, the council convened an emergency session. Zixer walked into the chamber holding Harper's hand. "I call for immediate reconsideration of humanity's petition," she announced. "Evidence of ancient genetic heritage has surfaced evidence of rightful membership." The humans erupted. But Zixler silenced them with a thunderous roar. Humanity did not merely survive abandonment on an undeveloped world. She said, they thrived. They built nations, languages, machines. They reached the stars with ingenuity and courage. They are not lacking. They are remarkable. 3 months later, Earth received official notice. Humanity had been granted provisional entry into the Galactic Council. Harper stood proudly in the chamber, no longer homeless, no longer overlooked. The ancient ring gleamed at her neck. Gabriel stood beside her, newly appointed youth ambassador. Zixer lowered her massive head, offering a warm, if intimidating smile. "Welcome home," she told the child softly.